There's only one reason why I would be at the Solana Beach train station at 6:30 a.m., and that's to take the Amtrak Pacific Surfliner up to Anaheim for a day at Disneyland. I'm trying my luck today riding Tiana's Bayou Adventure during Magic Key previews. You have to join a virtual queue at 7 a.m., so I brought my old iPhone 6 to use as a second clock device to ensure I join the queue at 7 a.m. on the dot because seconds absolutely matter here. My strategy for Tiana's worked, and I got boarding group 7, and then I also joined the virtual queue to ride Haunted Mansion Holiday. The train was nice and empty this morning, so I got to relax and enjoy the rest of the ride up. The train made it to Anaheim about 8 minutes late, so not bad overall. There is an art bus that goes from the Arctic to Disneyland, but it only comes every 45 minutes to an hour, so I always grab a lift to the parks. I got dropped off at the harbor entrance around 8:35 a.m., and thankfully security lines were very short. Then I made my way over to the Disneyland entrance and scanned into the park at 8:40 a.m. The train station still has scrim up, but the train has finally reopened. It's the very end of the Halloween season in the parks, and I was here so much in September that I definitely already had my Halloween fill. And it looks like the castle is also over Halloween. I always like to head over to Adventureland first to ride Indiana Jones, but sadly the ride was down. So time to pivot and pass the very snowy castle and head back to Toontown to ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which was only a 5-minute wait. This ride is so much fun, and it always has super low wait times in the morning. Then I made my way to another 5-minute wait over at Buzz Lightyear. The Buzz animatronic was finally up and working again, and they also upgraded the camera for the on-ride photo. Indiana Jones was back up, so I went over to Adventureland. Thankfully, there was almost no exterior queue, so barely a 10-minute wait. Indiana Jones is one of my absolute favorite rides, so I always have to take advantage of low morning waits. After Indy, I made my way to Pirates of the Caribbean, which was about a 5 to 10 minute wait. No matter how many times you ride Pirates, it never gets old. In excellent timing, my virtual queue for Haunted Mansion Holiday was called just as I was getting off of Pirates. Even though I feel like The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie, I feel like Haunted Mansion Holiday is more of a Christmas ride. Now they were supposed to start calling boarding groups for Tiana's at 9 a.m., but it was now 10:30 a.m. and no groups had been called yet. Logs were running, so I felt like they'd start soon. In the meantime, I checked out Ray's Berets, which had just opened. The theming is absolutely darling, and they had all these cute little Firefly house jars. I figured I'd ride Winnie the Pooh while I was here, and it was so good to see the Disneyland Railroad pass through again. And in perfect timing, they started calling boarding group for Tiana's at 10:45 a.m. My group 7 got called at 11:05 a.m., and since it was an early group, there was absolutely no wait, just walking through the queue and immediately boarding the ride. The ride is a lot of fun, and it's clear that this was designed specifically for Disneyland, since it doesn't have any of the pacing issues that Walt Disney World does. I do think there could have been a better storyline, like if the big drop is you taking a shortcut to make it to Tiana's party on time, but the ending scene is absolutely phenomenal with all the animatronics. But bring a poncho, otherwise you will get soaked. In continued perfect timing, I had scheduled a mobile order for lunch at the newly reopened Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree, and my window was ready right when I got off of Tiana's. I got the gluten-free beef brisket sandwich, which comes with a side of coleslaw. This is what you'd call a certifiably sad-looking gluten-free bun, but the sandwich itself was very tasty, a major step up from having just the option of a gluten-free burger. Now, the gluten-free sandwich comes with coleslaw because they changed their gluten-free fries to beer-battered fries. So the coleslaw was fine, but I was bitter about the fries. And I had also grabbed some dessert from Pooh Corner. Oh right, the poison. The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen especially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. And I have to say, it was absolutely lovely getting to have lunch along the rivers of America again. It really is so fantastic having this part of the park open again. Since I had no fries and wanted a salty snack for later, I went over to Rancho del Zocalo and picked up a bag of chips. Popcorn has gotten so expensive, and I think these chips are a great salty snack deal. I decided to look through the shops of Main Street to see if they had a new Christmas shirt I was looking for, and they thankfully did. This matches the Halloween shirt that sold out super quickly this year. The shirt was also selling quickly. I looked back later in the day and stock had really diminished. Now, what's better for an early afternoon ride than a grand circle tour on the Disneyland Railroad? By this time, the queue at Tiana's was quite full since a lot more boarding groups had been called. The railroad was so sorely missed when it was closed for refurb, so another thing that is so good to have open again. After the railroad, I figured I'd check out Single Rider for Space Mountain. Even though they weren't super efficient at loading single riders, it was still only a 10 to 15 minute wait. The air that they blow on the ride always makes my eyes water so badly. I thought I'd go over to Fantasyland next and ride Storybook Land canal boats, since it's been so long since I've ridden this ride. This is one of the rides that really feels like quintessential Disneyland. Next, I made a visit to Toad Hall to ride Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, another true Disneyland classic. Snow White was also a reasonably short wait, so I decided to ride that next. I of course absolutely love the Diamond Mine scene. Now, in addition to Magic Key previews, they also have a Magic Key giveaway for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a really large, beautiful attraction poster that I picked up. Since they were distributing these in Galaxy's Edge, I couldn't pass up walking through. It's always so good to see Mando and Grogu. Then I had to do one of my absolute favorite things, the canoes. I love how it feels like you could tip over into the rivers of America at any second. Magic Key previews for Tiana's were running until 5 p.m. today, so there were lots of very happy and wet people. After a brief snack break of a peanut butter square, I crossed back over the park to Tomorrowland to ride the monorail. I typically use the monorail as transportation, so today I wanted to ride it round trip as an attraction. While the park was by no means empty today, crowds were very manageable and the weather was absolutely gorgeous. I was taking the 5:50 p.m. train back, so I mobile ordered at Bengal Barbecue to get some dinner to go. I order a meat skewer without sauce to make it gluten-free, and then also a veggie skewer. Once I got my food packed to go, it was time to head out of the park and grab a lift back to the train station. In the about 8 hours I was in the park, I rode 14 rides, all standby or virtual queue, so I consider that a very successful day. We'll see these Mickey pumpkins again next year. I made it back to the Arctic in plenty of time. They had the colored lights on, but it was still a bit too light out to see. I bought a business class seat home, which guarantees you a seat, and I'm very happy I did so because it was a sold-out standing room only train back to San Diego. We'll be back in Anaheim next month for the start of the holiday season. But thanks for watching!